I thought I'd have a chat today while I'm out here in this lovely park. Yeah, I woke up this morning and I just did not feel like my normal self. I went for a walk, came back home, and I still felt like crap. Life can be hard sometimes, and in my 51 years of being on this planet, I can tell you now that even people who appear to have it all figured out, people who've got enough money to last them 3 lifetimes, people with great careers, every single one of us has crappy days. And I think it's been 3 months now that I've been without a job now. I've had many crappy days. Today I just woke up out of bed and I just wasn't feeling it. I just was not feeling like myself. And sometimes we can't understand why. Sometimes it's hormones, sometimes it's just, who knows, maybe it's stress. Being unemployed always is a tough experience to go through. It can be quite demoralizing for your soul. And I do have downy days. I have those bad juju vibe days where I just question everything I'm doing. And I second guess myself. I lose complete confidence in myself. And sometimes I'll have days where I'm feeling flat and I don't even understand why. And if you think about it, even if your life is great, even if everything's really hunky-dory, you're going to have a bad day eventually, and that's just normal. That's life, But here's the thing. Having a bad day doesn't mean you've failed. Having a bad day doesn't mean it's permanent. You're going to permanently stay in a bad mood. Having a bad day just means you're human. And not a lot of people still to this day will admit that they get a little bit depressed. I remember my father, he said to me once, I've never been depressed. And, I didn't believe him. A picture tells 1,000 words, and also I knew he didn't have a perfect life. But he was he came from a different generation. He was born in 1944, I think, or 1945. And men from that generation weren't really allowed to say that they were depressed. They had to sort of be the tough guy. And it was kind of like seen as weak for a man of his generation to say, hey, I'm feeling like shit, People are going through so many things in Australia, in the world. There's a lot of things going on that could make anyone just say, hey, look, I've had enough, give me something to be happy about. It's quite amazing how us humans, just get up out of bed and we just get on with it. It's actually amazing, right? Because there's some people who are actually homeless. There's some people who their lives have just turned really badly upside down. Yet these people, they still get up and they still keep fighting, they keep going on. And that's what I try to do when I have a shitty day. I just try and think of, well, things could be worse. And you know what? What's the alternative anyway? What do we do? Another reason that makes me a little bit low-key depressed is when I feel like I'm stuck and I don't have a solution. And I've pretty well much been put in this situation in the last, 3 months where I've got no job and I've had to I'm trying to reinvent myself, and that is extremely hard when you're at my age. And it just doesn't get easier the older you get. And the future kind of looks low-key bleak for me. But I know that that's just a fear. That's probably not the reality. I think one of the reasons why people get a little bit down and depressed is because they feel like they're stuck in a hole and they don't know how to get out of it. And that's a very real fear. It's a very real reason to get down. We need more people to just start admitting and to start admitting that, they're having a shitty day. Because I think that the more people just say, you know what, I'm not feeling okay, the more easier it is for other people to also say, oh, really? I don't feel good today either, and that way we're not having to just keep all these feelings to ourselves, because when we don't want to admit that we're not feeling great, it boggles in and it builds and it builds and it builds, and then it gets to this point where we feel like we don't know how to come out of that hole. What helps me? Just getting out in nature, and getting exercise. Another thing that's helping me is doing something creative. Like, this is why I started the YouTube channel, just to keep me mentally stimulated. I find that keeping mentally stimulated and physically active, so just move. Like, obviously you can't move all the time, but just going for, like, I like an hour brisk walk, and then I sort of like to do a little light jog in between that walk, and 1 hour is really good. Another thing that helps me is I have a husband, and I will just talk to him about my feelings. I don't believe in keeping it all to yourself. So just sharing how you feel with someone you feel comfortable talking about it with, because just dealing with things on your own all the time can get a bit taxing. Another thing is, and just reminding, I try to remind myself that these feelings will come and go. Feelings come and go, so you're not going to be permanently feeling like crap. And look, I don't have all the answers. And I don't want to sound like a guru or anything, because I'm definitely no guru. I don't want to be a guru on the YouTube. I'm sort of just more like, I just like to share how I feel sometimes. And I think being vulnerable is a good thing. Going back to what I was saying about my father, how he never really admitted that he got down sometimes, and how he never admitted that he got depressed. I think something we got to start changing, and I believe we are. You just have to go on TV and you'll see a lot of ads, or social media. A lot of people are saying there's no shame in feeling down sometimes. There's no shame, and go get help. So I think that's great. And I think we need to sort of just not be so embarrassed to admit it. My dad was just so scared to just admit that he got depressed, and it was pretty sad, because I guess for his 64 years of living, he never once said, hey, I'm not feeling too good, I'm depressed. In fact, he didn't deal with it very well. He probably drank a bit more alcohol than he should have. The feeling that you're going through right now, if you're having a bad day, it's going to pass. It's not going to be permanent as well. I think the Buddha said, or someone said, this too shall pass. You hear that everywhere. And it's true, If you're having a tough day, well, I'm having a tough day with you. Maybe tomorrow we're going to have a better day. Thanks for watching the video this long. I do appreciate it. Be kind to yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.